Good evening, everybody. Hope you're having a great day. It is a beautiful day in Michigan. This is why we live here, is because summer days like this are ones that everybody around the country would love to have. It's great not to have the heat and the humidity. Just want to give a few minutes, seconds, why people come on. Very important live tonight because it's a very big day tomorrow, but I want to tell you why and go over a little bit of background with you. But really, it is to engage. This is a call to action to all of you. And we've already done it on locals. If you want to get with us first there, you need to join us at standupmichigan.locals.com. That's our censorship free area. We have no shadow banning over there, and we again can talk freely and openly. We're here, not so much. We are on multiple platforms, but this is what we deal with. So I just wanted to make sure we've got it. I see some comments coming in, people. So it's great to have you with us. Um, First of all, I want to talk about the elections coming up, primaries on August the 2nd. Uh, the big day that's coming is tomorrow at 3 p.m. There will be interviews available for all five of the gubernatorial candidates. Now, how did that come about and why was that done? Well, believe it or not, when this was first talked about, I didn't realize how bad things were, as far as meaning people are not knowing who our candidates are at all. And we've now had, when I first thought about this about 3 weeks ago, there were approximately four polls that had been done. All of them had shown around between 45 and 55% of the electorate were undecided. What I didn't realize at the time until I started digging deeper was that it is because they don't know any of the candidates. And so I thought we're not going to be able to depend on the news media and social media to tell our story. We're not going to be able to get their story out there. Yes, they have lots of events they're going to. There is no way to reach the state of Michigan and its 10 million people. Think about that. I'm not talking about all them voting. I'm just saying that's how many people there are in Michigan. You cannot reach them without spending millions and tens of millions of dollars, and they have to be paying attention. And nobody watches TV as much anymore. But more importantly, what I wanted to make sure of was that we were not going to choose a candidate to take on Gretchen Whitmer that based on a 30-second TV commercial or a soundbite. And that's where we are. I don't care if you go back to the fix the damn roads. I don't care if you go to I'm the nerd candidate. If you ask people, that's what they remember about them. Now, of course, that was the one promise that Gretchen Whitmer made and didn't keep that one either. The point is that we have to be more knowledgeable about who it is we're electing. And that brings me to a deeper subject. The deeper subject is that we have been a very uninformed electorate. Republican and conservatives over time. Now, I'm not talking about you in general, because most of you who are watching me tonight have been following us and followed politics and or you wouldn't be joining me on a Thursday night to see this. But what we need you to do is we need you to share with an understanding that everyone around you, the people you work with, the people you go to church with, the people you go meet and run into every day at the cafe, in the grocery store, whatever, are not paying attention like you are and simply do not know who these people are. Now, it's because they're not politicians. So three great things that were discovered during this. First of all, they all agreed to do the interview about 2 weeks ago. And so we set them up for Tuesday, Wednesday, and today to complete the interviews with a release date simultaneously so that no one could say, we did this one first and everybody could see what they had to say and now they're answering differently. We wanted to release them all at the same time, so they were all recorded. They were not, they've not been edited at all. They are between 50, just under 58 minutes and 1 minute and 1 hour and 4 minutes. So they are only varied by about 5 minutes, and a couple of the subjects were a little longer on one or two because we were also probing some of the issues surrounding those candidates and having them answer those. So, but overall, They are all within or very close to 1 hour in length. You're going to find out who they are, what they stood for, their upbringing, what they did for a living, and what got them involved in running for governor. And here is what I determined. First of all, I learned something from every candidate, and I know them. So it is worth watching them. Secondly, if you have a candidate of your choice, that's fantastic. But are you sharing that information? Not vote for this person, but instead, here is a video with an interview of the candidate I've chosen, and you will probably agree with me. We need you to do that. If they want to look at other candidates, the links will be there. So tomorrow at 3 o'clock, it is simply standupmichigan.com. You can go there tonight. Go on your phone if you're not watching this on your phone. Go to standupmichigan.com. You'll see that there is a link right there to the 5 gubernatorial candidates. It actually just says read more, and then you will go to a landing page where they will have their pictures, their bios, their links to all their websites. And tomorrow there'll be a second button next to read more on that page that will have watch the interview. So what we want you to do and need you to do is to share this information with everybody. So I want to share with you a little bit of facts that came out just recently that I wasn't aware how bad it was. But one of the interviews I had, interestingly enough, which you're going to hear, and as Pastor Rebant actually mentioned it and said, a recent poll said that 76% of 1,000 people polled did not know the candidates. It seems amazing, but honestly, most people don't pay attention until they get after the 4th of July to races. And where there's 5, it's just too many for them to calculate. So they wait and see what happens. And if somebody talks about somebody or a commercial, but do we want to continue to choose our people like that and then complain about who they are? Oh, you're a rhino. Well, maybe if you listen to an interview of them, maybe if you actually got to know who these people really are, you would be able to understand and make a more informed decision. That's what we do here at Stand Up Michigan is care, inform, and at the end of this, we're going to activate you because without you, we're going to have not only uninformed electorate, regardless of who wins August 2nd, and it probably won't be the person that should win because nobody is going to pay attention to what they really stand for. And then we've got to explain to people why they should vote for them over Gretchen Whitmer. And if you don't know anything about them, then this also will give you the tool to share that link to the interview with everyone you know. All your social media say, if you aren't sure who to vote for governor, here are interviews of the 5 candidates. That's it. Share it with them, share the link with them, and then tell people on your social media, texting, and by email. And we're going to send an email if you're on our email list so that you can forward that email to the people that you know and say, hey, listen to these, watch the candidates' interviews, and then, pick who you want. And again, if you say, I'm only sharing the one I care about, fine, but at least share that one because I guarantee you 3/4 of the people you run into do not know who they are. So here are the numbers. 50% of the recipients say they have heard of Ryan Kelly. I want to preface that with a last statement, which we've always known in the state of Michigan, is that an Irish name in Michigan, specifically the name Kelly, gets between 5 and 6% more in the vote because the name is recognizable. I'm sure many of you remember Frank Kelly. There have always been a lot of Kellys, especially in Southeast Michigan. So all I'm saying with that is that even that is probably with some of that number of why there are 50% of the people that say they know him. Do they really know Ryan Kelly? Maybe, maybe not. Maybe it's the arrest. I can't tell you. But let's move on to the rest. Kevin Rinke, 58% say they do not know Kevin Rinke. The majority of voters, 68%, say they do not know Tudor Dixon. Are you ready for this one? 71% say they do not know who Garrett Soldano is. And Ralph Rebant, 84% say they do not know him. Now, this was 600 voters, but I'm telling you, there have been 4 polls. And for those of you that think, oh, that's crazy, he's been all over, he's whatever. Look, people don't pay attention to people's names. They might even know an organization they're associated with. They may know that it's that real estate guy that got arrested. Oh, is she the one that was, the woman in the race? It doesn't mean they know their names. So what I'm telling you is if they don't know their names, that means they certainly don't know anything about them. So I want to tell you something that I learned through this process. And you're going to find out if you watch these interviews. Do we not owe these candidates 1 hour of our time to listen on the way to work in an afternoon to just hear a little bit of the differences in them? Because what I think you're going to find, and this is very encouraging, is that we have 5 candidates who are conservative. You're not going to be able to deny that. No way. We have 5 candidates who are Christians. Never going to be able to deny that. And we have five candidates who have no political background whatsoever or political affiliation. Those are what you normally have in one candidate who is the non-political, non-establishment. We have five, and we do not have an establishment candidate. We do not have a repeat, somebody who's been in politics. There's nothing wrong with that, I mind you. But in this case, at this time, we wanted somebody who was going to represent us, came from us, and all of these candidates you're going to find are running because of how this oppression and this tyranny that they experienced in their personal lives and for those around them drove them to make a decision to run. And so, with those things in mind, you're going to find that 80% to maybe even 90% of what you hear from them are the same commitments to all of the things that will really affect your life as a governor. Now, do they have different frames of mind, and do they have different angles in which they have approached becoming a governor? I would guess that a person who was in the healthcare field as a chiropractor has a different approach than a person who has been an owner of a large corporation, or a mother of four who is in broadcasting, or a real estate agent for that main, or a pastor from 35 years. They all have a different background, and they have a different a story again. But it is important for us to know that we are in good hands. But it is also more important than ever that we unify not only around the candidate that prevails on August the 2nd, but that we do so with a informed electorate. I quote this in one of the videos, and I just want to share it with you now. The secret of freedom lies in educating people, whereas the secret of tyranny is keeping them ignorant. It's true. And we have been fairly ignorant. And the majority of the population is absolutely ignorant when it comes to politicians, because they don't like politicians. But yet, as soon as they're elected, they become establishment, because that's the way it works. What I'm saying is, it is our responsibility to share with everyone you know, and here's what we're asking. So it's the call to action right now. The call to action is to share the link with, first of all, on all of your social media platforms, your Facebook, your Twitter, your Truth Social, your texting, if you can share it with all of your friends, your messenger with the people around you, wherever it is, we need you to share it. And we're going to send everybody probably 3 emails in the next 2 weeks, continuing to remind you and provide it to you so that you can forward the email or share the email with your email list or whoever it is that you might have access to, or at least share the link. Because, and want you to continue to either pin it in your area or repost it every couple of days so that you can say a simple thing, and we'll write some things for you, but are you sure who you're voting for in the Republican primary? There's a good question. Are you still undecided about who to vote for? Here is a link to some great interviews of our 5 candidates. Is that difficult to do? Because if you believe in your candidate, and you have one, and probably most of you do, but interestingly enough, I did a poll over on locals, and 46% of the people who responded said they're undecided. I think those that know some of them are undecided, and I think obviously those that don't know any of them are undecided. It's our job to inform them. And again, once we get to August 3rd, what's going to happen? We've got to be able to go out and say, we have got a great candidate, and here's why. But if you don't know the details of the candidate, or you don't have something you can share with people, then we're going to end up in this battle of Whitmer spending $30 to $50 million to tell you she's not who she is. The media is already doing it. They're already saying that 79% of the people in Michigan believe that the country and the state are going in the wrong direction. But guess what they also say? They don't believe Whitmer has anything to do with it. They treat her differently. They treat her separately. They think she's doing a pretty good job. I believe it's BS, and I know you believe it's BS. But I'm telling you that by the time another month or two rolls around, she will be saying, I've never raised your taxes. I'm pro-business. I'm pro-children. I'm sending money to everyone. That's what happens. And then the lockdowns and the oppression are going to follow. More importantly, I believe whoever wins in this November election, that Secretary of State and that Attorney General will prevail too. I think it'll be down ballot. There's no way our candidate wins and we don't win Attorney General and Christina Caramo and Matt DePerno don't win too. No way. Not going to happen. Now, I still think Christina's got a chance, maybe, but honestly, probably not much because they're going to outspend us. So that means we have to be the engine. We do what we've always done, and that is we are the ants on the ground. We are the megaphones. We're the ones in our own communities. It's why we went to county chapters. We need you to spread the word, not by just your word of mouth and talking points either, but sharing a 1 hour interview with them, because I believe when they listen to that, which by the way includes a lot of commentary by me, imagine that, but I'm doing it so that those that watch the to learn about candidates will also know what the governor did to us. I'm reminding them as a backstory all the time of what happened to us, why we're here, election integrity, 2,000 mules, the masking of our kids, the CRT in education, the abortion amendment that's coming, the federalizing or state taking over of our elections forever that are both going to be on the ballot in November and that we have to vote no on both. We're educating them as part of this process as well, because it is vital that we get to November and we win, because I also believe that as the Michigan goes in 2022, so will go the 2024 presidential race in Michigan, because they will cheat. It will be fraud. It will be corruption. They will have taken over and federalized the elections anyway. That's what's going to happen. All this election integrity talk will be irrelevant if we don't defeat these measures, which means we need to get everybody out to vote. But don't just have them vote because you told them to, and it's a responsibility. Have them vote because this person stands for them. And I believe that's what these candidates do. I'm going to try and answer a few questions. And yes, it is killing babies. I mean, that's where we are today. What I'm saying to you is, and I see a bunch of people here talking about, obviously, Ralph Rebant is the pastor of 35 years. I learned more about him than I did any of the other candidates. I knew things about him. I'd been with him in person, but I had never heard his story. And you're going to hear some very interesting things there. So you're going to learn, again, I believe, if you listen to all of them, that we, again, are in good hands. So if you would tomorrow, and we will remind you that we need you to send out and share this information in the link. And by the way, that link is simple. It is, I'll see if I've got it here in my, I don't know if I put it here or not. Yep. Okay, it's going to be standupmichigan.com/governors. Now we're going to send that in a link. We'll put it in the description here. I'll put it in the comments, and then it'll be all over everywhere. I can promise you, starting tomorrow afternoon. That's the link to where you go to the landing page, or you can just go to standupmichigan.com if you don't remember this, and they will be able to click on it there and have access to all 5 interviews. We need your help. If you do what we need you to do, this will go viral, and by the time 2 weeks comes along, hundreds of thousands of people in Michigan will have learned about our candidate, our candidates, and why it is that it is important that we do not vote for Gretchen Whitmer, and that we can be proud to vote for a candidate who is going to defend your and mine interest. They're going to protect the rights and liberties for you and your kids, and they're going to, all of them, lower taxes is their goal, cut regulations to make your life and get government out of our lives more and more. Replace a lot of with faith-based initiatives, education. There are so many great things that these candidates stand for. We're going to have to hold their feet to the fire. We're going to have to battle along the way. Remember, check your candidates for House members. For your senators, your districts might have changed. Make sure that you are going to identify or run for school board. Those deadlines are coming up in about 12 days as well. We need good candidates all around. We're going to change the culture here in Michigan. It's going to happen one voter and one citizen at a time with your help. So I'm going to see if there's anything else on here. And what I would ask of each of you is, let's not spend this last 2.5 weeks. I got to ask you a question, first of all. If you are for a candidate and somebody says, I would never vote for them, it's only so-and-so, they've been the only ones, whatever, is it going to change your mind? I got to ask you, is it going to change your mind? Because it doesn't change my mind. If I've made up my mind and I get 12 pieces in my mailbox. Did that change your mind? I would rather say to them, I know you have your candidate, but I'd like you to watch the interview of mine and yours and see if you agree with me. Does that not make more sense to every one of you? Drop it in the comments here. Does that not make sense? And if your candidate is the right one, then you will listen to the others and go, I made the right decision. But you will be more boldly able to talk to others about it and share the video of your candidate and the interview of your candidate so that, again, together, we can move Michigan forward. I hope that this helps you because it is one of the biggest things I think. Yes, Unlock Michigan was gigantic in what it accomplished. And getting the bills passed to ask for the science and data we knew we'd never get was a big thing, but we also knew that it was never coming. Defeating Gretchen Whitmer and choosing a candidate for governor that comes from grassroots, that is a Christian, that's conservative, that's going to never make and allow these things to happen to us again in Michigan, that will be an important thing we've accomplished. And we've got 2 years to make sure we right the ship nationwide. But it starts right here. It starts local. It starts with you. So it was a great talking to you tonight. And one more thing, anybody who asks you who should I vote for, don't just give them a name. Share with them the link to have them watch the interview and let them decide for themselves. And those that say, I don't have time, they were the people that will be complaining when the next lockdowns and the masks come. Or maybe they'll just be wearing the mask and be happy to do it. What I'm saying to you is it's important that people take time to learn about who it is they're voting for and what they stand for. So have a great evening, and I'll be back with you this weekend to make sure and to continue to push this with links. But I appreciate all of you, appreciate what you're standing for. Please share this if you would, share this video, and let's get everybody ready tomorrow afternoon and evening to say, here is my entire list. I want to share this with all of you. Please watch the video. And if you want to promote your own candidate, promote your own. Have a great evening. God bless you. God bless this beautiful country we live in. Thanks and have a great